Hello everyone, welcome to the Keller Garden YouTube channel. I'm Bridget and this is Evan, and today we're going to talk about this awesome potting bench right here. I asked my wonderful husband to build me a potting bench out of some reclaimed wood that we found and some things that we had around the house. So I'm very excited to show you this. We are still in the process of putting it together, so we'll show you how far we've gotten and then some ideas about what we may be doing with it. I can't give you an idea of time frame because Evan kind of put it together over a couple of months. And material, I can't give you an idea on cost of material like I normally do because all of it was stuff that we had around, except for the reclaimed wood, we paid like 20 bucks and we got to take a bunch of wood. But even part of the top is from a bed frame that we had. So, but if you have some questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below and we'll answer as many as we can. Okay, so how did you start to decide how to build this?
First I had to figure out how big you wanted it. So I think we settled on 2 feet deep by roughly 5 feet wide.
Okay.
And then you wanted it as a potting bench. So you wanted the soil to be able to go through these slats into a container. So basically I had to build it around the container that's in here. So I had to kind of draw it up based off of this plastic tub so I could get this to fit in here and get it to look right.
All right, I'm going to give you guys a close-up look as we go through this, all right?
Okay, so first thing on here, the first thing you did was really kind of build the frame, right?
Yeah. So we got that reclaimed wood, which was some old 4x4s and some old 2x4s. So that's what the main frame is built out of, some reclaimed 4x4s and 2x4s. And they also had some 1x6 and 1x8, probably, some old fencing or something that looked pretty cool. It was reclaimed. That's what we used for to fill in the bottom. And luckily we had just enough of all the material to kind of make this work so it wasn't too hodgepodge.
So right here though, we've got about like 9 slats down at the bottom and you notched them, right, around the wood?
Just the 2 on the ends were notched around the 4x4s, and then we just cut them to fit. And so I have the 2x4 frame around the outside, and then there's another 2x4 ledger on the inside of that. And we actually screwed it up from the bottom so you wouldn't have any nail holes. I mean, you could just finish nail it. I just wanted the look of really not having any holes in that. I mean, there are some screws in the 4x4 posts. They're, like deck screws, so they have a coating on them so they won't rust, hold up to the weather. I didn't mind a few screws. I just didn't want screws or nails in everything. Just like on the top, everything's screwed from the bottom, so it gives it kind of a little more of a finished look. It's just really hard to do on the main legs. I want some good screws in there for the structure of it, so it holds up.
So, how tall is this back piece right here?
I believe it's like 5 feet. So it's the very top of it's 64.5 inches to that shelf. The frame itself was real close to, it was about 5 feet until we put the wheels on it, which bumped it up. But that gives you a countertop height of roughly 3 feet, which is kind of standard. So, I wanted to make sure that it was comfortable for you to work on.
And those are some good wheels. Where did we get those wheels?
Ordered them off Amazon.
Okay.
But they were fairly inexpensive. I like the all black.
And then this wood right here is from a bed frame, right?
Yeah, that was an old bed frame that we had. We have a Tempur-Pedic mattress with a fancy adjustable frame now. So that was just been sitting around for a number of years, and they used some decent wood for the slats on that sled bed frame that we used to have. So I I had just enough of it to use for this. And it looks like maybe it's mahogany or some kind of hardwood that's measures 2 inches wide by 1 inch thick. So it worked out pretty good for this.
So you just really used it to frame it and then to do that middle section, right?
Yeah, it's the 2 inch slats are good, and then I left a 1/2 inch in between for the dirt to fall through. And I built it based around this 2 inch so I could frame it and then fit this inside it and have the tub inside. And yeah, I think it gives it a cool look.
Will you take out the slat portion? And then show me that slatted so they can see how you put it together.
I just screwed it from the backside. Used some wood glue and then countersunk it a little bit to try not to split the wood too much. And so just screwed it on both sides with some, they're kind of like flush head deck screws, so they don't have a big head on them.
Okay. And then in here, you framed, so we have this bucket that I wanted to catch all the dirt in. And you framed out so it would, you framed it out so that bucket would fit in here.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that we really bought new was just some basic Doug fir 2x4s. And that's what I use for inside of our rough frame with the reclaimed wood. And just basically built a little ledge that this could basically fit on. And it holds it on front and back and gives you a little room on the sides just to get your hands in there enough to pick it up. I would have liked to give it a little more room, but it's just technically it's a little hard to get more room out of this and have it all fit together tight. So, and there's just enough to grab it. I mean, I wouldn't fill the entire thing up with dirt. I would maybe get it halfway, but you can grab the 2 corners. That works too. You can't exactly get the handles that are built into it, but it's functional. It'll be strong, definitely strong enough to put a decent amount of dirt in there.
Let's take that planter off and show them what's underneath. So now the metal pieces, we're still deciding if we want to put the metal pieces on here.
These, if we do put them down, I would just use some like adhesive silicone. Looks cool. It's a little shiny in the sun.
It doesn't bother me.
So these aren't screwed down yet, so you haven't quite figured out whether. I mean, you could put a dark stain and kind of clear coat on this. Then it's just 3/4 inch plywood, and then there's the rest of the frame that basically this rests on. And because there's a difference in the 3/4 and the 1 inch, there's a small step here that I notched out, which was a little tricky to get it all to fit together good, but that way everything flushes out on the top. So I'm not quite finished yet, still making some decisions. This is just some galvanized sheet metal that I had left over from a project that somebody just gave me. This is just really just flashing material, but if you glued it down on there, besides the reflectiveness, would be pretty cool.
So what was the hardest thing about this project?
Getting this tub to fit in here. So basically, it's all built around the tub. Initially getting started, I don't even think I had the tub, so I think we looked at some dimensions off Amazon and started to build it based off of that. And then once we got it, Britt was able to finish it. But yeah, it's hard to center everything around one little plastic tub. It worked out, but yeah, it's a little challenging.
And working with reclaimed wood, I mean, some of that wood is in okay shape and some is a little beat up. So was there a lot of splitting? Was there a lot of problems with the screws?
I mean, I pre-drill everything anyways, and there was some, decent amount of rot on some of it. So being able to get good use out of all of it, a lot of it had to be thrown away, but a lot of it could still be saved. And even though some of it looks a little rough, it's still structurally pretty sound. But yeah, when you have reclaimed wood and you're trying to use for the entire project, I mean, obviously make sure you get enough. like on everything here, I was super tight on all of these boards. But it's just what what we could end up getting. You just make sure you have enough that you could actually finish your project, because if not, and you got to put a new piece in, it's going to look a little funny with a brand new piece of wood. So yeah, just make sure if you can get a little extra, that would be my advice. Just like the bed frame stuff, like I had just enough to do it, and I knew I had just enough, but it makes it a little nerve wracking, because if you do make a bad cut or something splits, you're kind of stuck with it. So yeah, it's always better if you at least know you have the option of getting more material, or just know that you already have enough. A little extra doesn't hurt, and make your life a lot easier. But we got it finished with what we had, so that's good.
How long do you think a project like this might take? I mean, it took you a while because it was split up.
Like if you have everything all planned out from the get-go, like, it's hard to commit like entire days to something like this. Like we split up like weekend after weekend, but there's a good amount of work in it. This is a piece of furniture. I mean, you can make it a lot rougher than this. I mean, the material is rough, but like I tried to do a decent job on the assembly, and I never built a potting bench before, so obviously if I did another one, it would go a bit quicker. But there's probably a good couple days in this. But I mean, to build a piece of furniture, which is basically what it is, and the fact that just this piece alone right here probably took me half a day to cut all the pieces, and between that and the frame to assemble it, and it just depends how you want it to come out. You could do it quicker if you don't mind it. You can make a pretty little rougher version of it, save you some time. And I'm not a furniture builder. I build houses. So not that I haven't built things in the past. I've built bars, and I've built cabinets before. But when you're not set up to do it, it takes a little time, a little head scratching sometimes. But as long as the wife's happy with it, I'm happy with it, and I don't mind spending the time.
I love it.
I know she'll use it, so it's not one of those things that you buy or that somebody doesn't use. Like, this is something that I know she's going to be out here every weekend using this, so that's why I try to spend a little extra time on it. And the fact that it's going to get some use, then it's worth all the the hours you put into it.
So now you have a close-up view of my awesome potting bench, and I will use it. I love it. He did a phenomenal job on it, and he was navigating the entire time around me and the Dane, so you'll see some of that also. So the last things we have to do are we need to decide if we're going to put this metal down right here, and then back here is still open. I may put up like an old window, with the glass. I might do something like that, or I may put another shelf. I haven't decided yet. Just depends. Even while he was doing it, he put a piece of plywood across it, so I've been using it even while it was under construction. So I'm excited that I can use it now, and I can pot up, and I really like this. And we looked at a couple of different sizes. We looked at a smaller tub. He went for the bigger one and said we should just do that so he could frame around it. So
well, it worked out good because it's almost like 3 equal sections, and you still have plenty of room on the side, for when you're doing that.
Yeah, my favorite thing is that it's on wheels too, so I can move it around. I love that. I absolutely love that I can move it. So that's really nice. And this bottom shelf is really sturdy. Great shelf. So I like that. And I knew I wanted a bottom shelf, and then possibly something on the top, and then maybe another one. But again, we'll decide. So we have just a few more things to decide before we finish it up. And we didn't talk about sealing the wood at all, but possibility. I do want to see it gray just a little bit more on the bottom, and then maybe we'll seal it up so it lasts a bit longer. But that's it. So next what you'll see is him putting it together. You'll see the tools that he used, and then just, part of the process of it. Again, if you have any questions, just put those down in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them, or I'll ask Evan to give me the answers for you. So thank you again for joining us, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. So happy gardening.